going on, Neil?
Nothing much, Cal. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, that was Tahitian Moon by Porno for Pyros leading us in. I forgot all about that song myself, but I found it again after we got tickets to go see them October 27th at the Fillmore. And we will be on main floor with episode 7 guest John Shack.
Yes. What night is that? I think I ask this all the time.
You know what? I have no idea.
Is it a weeknight, though, isn't it?
Possibly.
All right.
It's Detroit, usually a weeknight.
Yep. We've touched.
So, it's funny. We are recording here because this is supposed to be our season 1 wrap episode, where we just talk about how awesome we've been all year. Mm-hmm. No bad episodes except for probably the Black Nova Graffiti one. But hey, we're learning. New technology for us.
That was bad for us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Not.
No, but it was good to talk to them. And, I mean, I keep seeing on the socials, they're popping up in festivals and doing shows here and there, which is super cool that they're doing really good this summer. But we really aren't doing a season 1 wrap party. It's actually a disguise for a surprise birthday party for my wife. So, but we figured since this is all part of the plan, we might as well get together and talk for a little bit. Yeah. We have a few things we wanted to touch on, right?
Look at us just playing it out like, here
right,
we are.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look like a couple of fanboys with our shirts on.
Mm-hmm. We're really putting out the ruse, right?
Absolutely.
Or the ruse.
So that's what, got the party coming up. We'll see how it goes. We'll let everyone know on the other side. Mm-hmm. But the funniest thing is, right, so around my wife's birthday is always a tough time because you have fantasy football drafts, which I'm in 2 of them.
Labor Day.
Then Labor Day is always right around there. And then, actually Labor Day falls just a couple of days after her birthday. Perfect time to go do something. So I dropped, hey, I'm going to have a 2 Dudes and Killer Tunes season 1 wrap party on September 2nd. Me and Neil are going to do our final, send off. We'll go on hiatus for a few months and then we'll just get ready for the party. I went hands off,
Mm-hmm.
But it was always the surprise party for her. So trying to just manage all that. So, I mean, at one point she's like, I didn't know anything about this. Another point, she wants to get involved. And I'm like, no, I just want you to enjoy the day,
mm-hmm.
And it's fun. I've been in on it. Obviously, all 3 of the kids. Both of our moms have played, unbelievable roles. It's so funny. But finally, she had to be involved. So when I was first doing this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this, and this, and so-and-so is bringing this. She's like, how'd you already do this? I said, I told you, I'm having the party. We planned it.
It's easy.
And then I'm like, and I figured I'll get a cake. And she's like, well, why would you get a cake for a 2 dudes party? I'm like, well, we're going to have all this food. No dessert. She's like, no, you'll be okay. So 3 days ago, she's like, I think you need a cake. So we're both home, and on Thursday it was her birthday, so we're both home, and she's like, here, we'll go to Dairy Queen and we'll get ice cream cake. I'm like, perfect. So she goes in there with me, she steps right up, and she's like, I wanted to say 2 Dudes and Killer Tunes and black writing, I want a skull and, black border. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll pick it up on Saturday at noon, and she's like, oh no, we'll pick it up tomorrow. You don't want to. So now we have this cake for her birthday that's got a skull that says 2 Dudes and Killer Tunes.
You were going to go in there and just say, hey, not 2 Dudes and Killer Tunes.
Right. I'm like, I'll pick it up Saturday, and I was going to call him and say, hey, can you just wipe that and put happy birthday Emily? But no, so now we got this cake. She's out with Kennedy right now. We got stuff going on upstairs, so. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it'll be a good time for all, but I think it will.
Busy bodies over here.
Absolutely. And so, also I wanted to, just give a shout out to the supporters out there, right, of 2 Dudes. It's really why we do it, right? We do it for ourselves, of course, but I mean, we get a lot of good feedback. We've been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the people I've been talking to, and then I just realized there's this thing called the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy. And I was never on it. So I finally created one. And literally in the last week, our downloads jumped like over 100 and something percent.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube subscribers have ballooned. It's all because of the Facebook. So, one, appreciate everyone out there who follows us on everything. Because one, I mean, I'm like, all of a sudden, we need you know what I decided we need? An unpaid intern to manage all of our social medias.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know,
If there's anybody out there,
hey,
there's a kid maybe that just wants.
You don't have to work too hard, but you ain't gonna get paid either. So, but hey, if anyone's interested, get in touch with Cal and Neil. Mm-hmm. No, but no, thanks to everyone. And the thing that we've always talked is having the guests on and reconnecting.
Right. And I think what was maybe the jump in the maybe viewerships or downloads was you getting on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
The Facebook. No. And I was reading a couple of the comments, you know, on that Adam Pickler's episode, and I was like, whoa. It was way more than when I put something on there and I get one.
Right.
Like, you know, but it was cool to see some names that we haven't talked to in a while, and like you said, reconnecting with people and just talking. I mean, the Pickler episode was awesome.
Absolutely. We went forever.
We talked soccer and college soccer and soccer.
I've gotten a lot of feedback about that one. It was a long episode, but yeah, people are interested in kind of all the twists and turns in it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to have him on. And I mean, I could see him probably being on again, you know, but so yeah, all the social media stuff is blowing up. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I mean, I think we might finally get rid of that last t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, fingers crossed, right? But I think probably the perfect time to try to get rid of it would be when we go and do our show in Pine House parking lot for Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
September 6th, Wednesday.
It's actually going to be an auction, so you probably have to pay like at least
very
$4.
Top dollar. And I believe it is an extra large, so I mean it's a very hot commodity. Mm-hmm. But no, we do plan on going there, and it's funny because of Facebook. You know, one of the people that have been commenting is Jake Jekyll, who we talked about with Maxie about soccer, Needless Sal, and Brighton and Churchill and everything. And then it was funny to see the back and forth of everyone like piecing that together, who beat who and whatever. But he's going to be at the concert, so hopefully we'll run into him. And I know Charlie and Sea-Dog, Cynthia, are going to be there, I believe. And I think their friend Elena, who's also one of our supporters from day one. So. So yeah, and you know, one thing I do appreciate too is like all these videos people are sending, you know, after they go to shows or we're at shows together, you know, and we're blasting them out there, and it's like a competition now I have with them. Yeah. So right now on YouTube, Adam Pickler is the most views with his Justin Timberlake video from 2019 at LCA.
JT, I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Then there was an internal competition between Adam and his wife Julie about who had the better JT video. So Pickler ended up about 2,500. Julie had Crimea River, which, you know, good song. It only did about 400. Yeah. So Pickler rules that race on the JT videos.
All right, way to go, Adam.
Number 2, though, actually just posted last night, was a super cool video that Ryan Maxey sent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you saw it too. It was
neat video.
Yeah, it was like almost like a private event, and it was LL Cool J with the Roots, and it was just a short clip, about 8 seconds, but it's Mama Said Knock You Out, and oh my God! But do you remember the LL Cool J Unplugged on MTV?
Yes.
Do you remember? And that was like the first time you actually saw like a rap artist with a band behind them. And it was the same thing with the Roots. Oh my God, that was killer. So that's number 2 already. I just posted it last night, and that's up over about almost 2,100.
I wish it was, I mean, Ryan, thank you for the video. I think we all wish it was a little bit longer, but
I know.
Totally sweet.
I know. My daughter was like, yeah, I saw some of it. I said, no, then you saw it. It was like 8 seconds. But it's sweet.
That's almost what I thought. The same thing. I'm like, did I do something? I thought it was going to be longer.
No, that was super cool. And I appreciate everyone sending that. It's awesome getting that out there.
And like you had mentioned earlier, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know,
And it comes back to how it all connects us. And, before we kind of move on to the next topics here, the part I love is that, I'll lead into it. We just went to Lumineers. Mm-hmm. And it was myself, Emily, Elena, Moose, my son-in-law, Kennedy, Avery. That was the first time that all 5 of us, and then Moose, but we're at a concert together since we went to Rusted Root in Cincinnati. I think Avery was like 6, right? And now he's like, 6'2", and, senior in high school. Seniors. So that's been a while. So that was cool for that. And then, but episode 7 guest, John Shack pops up. He was there with his daughter, drove his daughter and some of her friends. So he was flying solo, basically. And he hung out with us. And then episode 2, John Doring, him and his buddy Jesse, who was finally following us. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask if John was there. I was like,
yeah. So there, and and guess where we watched the concert from? The rail.
Yeah.
Or you get behind the yellow line in front of the hill, and you just stand there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, everyone's like trying to figure out, everyone can stand.
Yes.
But it all worked out.
Yeah, and I tell you, didn't get seats. We're going to stand, or you sit on the lawn, whatever.
100%. But oh my God, Lumineers killed it. And I think it was the second song in. They played "Night Moves" by Bob Seger, and oh my God, just the place was just.
It went nuts. Funny that I know you sent me the video the night of or even the day after. I'm like, oh my gosh, crap, that's awesome. And then guess what I've heard a lot for the last week is "Night Moves" on like the radio, just being played. Of course,
that's crazy.
But it is weird how that. Oh, people are it's generating viewership or listenership, if you will, and then. Oh, I've heard "Night Moves" at least 10 times now. I've never heard that many.
Right, exactly.
By Bob Seger.
And I thought it was such a classy move by him,
yeah.
Especially since Pine Knob's on 33 Bob Seger Way or whatever. But no, they killed it. I mean, the place was packed, completely sold out. And before me and Emily went, I'm like, this is the 4th time in 7 years. Like, I don't know if I can do 5. And then we show up there and like 2 songs in, I'm like, when's number 5?
6.
Right, exactly.
I've only seen them once. Was that last?
Oh, we went last year. Yeah, it's just.
And then I couldn't make.
It's just such a fun environment, and so many of those songs and everyone's singing along, and it's a lot of fun. So, well, I did have a little special topic, Neil.
Okay.
So.
Am I aware of this?
Yes, I think so. I hope so. If not, we will probably be editing that out. No, but obviously I'm a huge TV fan, and with all the effing streaming services and everything else, and we still even have cable. But what I've noticed is some of these shows that are just awesome shows now have some of the most awesome music to go along with them. Mm-hmm. And which is, I'm like, man, yeah, people are finally realizing, how good this stuff was. But then what it really is we're just old, right? We're older, so like they're targeting you, so they put your music in there, and I'm like, fucking give me more, right? So we had 3. I was going to start with 1, and then I think I want to see what you have for yours.
Sure.
So a show called Beef. Did you ever see it? It was on Netflix.
No, but
so it's Steve Yeun he was Glenn in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And Troy Michigan native. So it's called Beef. It starts at the very beginning of the episode. It's like a road rage thing, and it just goes from there.
Right.
Like 10 episodes.
That's what I know.
And it's like you're first watching it. It's like you're not sure about the first episode, but you give it one. But then it's like a song hits you, and the first one, one was like early on, like they played Hoobastank, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm like, that's different. You don't usually hear that, right?
Right.
I'm like, okay. But then it was actually Tori Amos, Cornflake Girl. I'm like, oh my God, I love that song. Paul used to like play that song all the time. I remember his love of the female singers. But I'm like, wow, this is, and then it just keeps going from there. Bush, Paula Cole, but stuff from I remember. It's not all the older stuff. But then they played Grant Lee Buffalo, and we talked about this on a different episode because this is when me and Gruy actually saw them live when it was some festival at Pine Knob. And I remember hearing a song way back when we saw them in this concert. All of a sudden, I totally forgot about them, and they played the song Mockingbirds by Grant Lee Buffalo. I look at Emily, I'm like, holy crap, I haven't heard this song in 20 years. So, of course, I immediately, put everything on my Spotify. And then Keen, I don't know if... Yeah, Keen's in that.
Love me some Keen.
And then all of a sudden, some of the other ones pop up. And I know you'll love this one, Sugar Ray, Fly. Huh?
I just saw that over there. Sure, that's not Sugar... I mean, okay.
Yeah, it definitely
Sugar
is.
Ray, okay.
And then you had Limp Bizkit with Nookie, Offspring, Self-Esteem, which, I mean, we've dogged some of those, but also it, like, gets you back in that mindset of, like, that 90s and everything.
That's so funny. On the way here, I heard a Limp
And I'm gonna be a spoiler, right? But it's a music spoiler. For the very end of the first season, it actually plays down to Mayonnaise by Smashing Pumpkins, which is awesome. It's from Siamese Dream. Seen that song live so many times. But you know what? I saw something the other day. I'm not so sure that they play that anymore.
No.
Because, like, it was like Billy Corgan's, it was Smashing Pumpkins Instagram, and it was like a picture of, like, someone, like, looking all defeated, like, wondering why they don't ever play Mayonnaise anymore or something. So there's something to that, but I have to look into that. So, but no, Beef, it's an awesome show. And the music that goes along with it. But the one that I'm really interested in is what you got to talk about.
Well, all right, there's a show called Yellow Jackets. I mean, I think I've seen, there's how many seasons? Two?
Yep. So this is, it's, almost like a modern day Lord of the Flies, right? The girls' soccer team, they get stranded, no one can find them.
And you can find this on Showtime?
So Showtime, and then, figure it out. I mean,
right.
If I can find it, you can find it.
If I can write down all these songs that I wrote down and artists in about 5 minutes, you can find it. So I mean, I won't be able to tell you as in depth as you did with Beef, but I mean,
I have seen both seasons in one. That show is amazing. I mean, I absolutely love it.
I know.
It's got Juliette Lewis, Christina Ricci. Yes. God, I forget the lady's name. Of course, it'll come to me when we're done. But it's an awesome show, and it goes back when they were kind of stranded, and then they're today, right? So I'll leave it at that.
There, and I mean, this is, and to say what we're saying about soundtracks and music, of course, is a music podcast, but music in shows and music in movies. So you get any artists from The Prodigy, Firestarter.
How does that go, Neil?
The Prodigy.
No, how does Firestarter go? I'm a Firestarter. We won't even get him going.
Yeah, we don't give me.
No, but so and like Hole, and if I remember, like that was one of the very early ones. I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. And I was never the biggest Hole fan, but it's like you hear it and it's like piques your interest. What's going on here?
Hole is cool. She's a jammer, like great riffs and everything. Alanis Morissette, Salt and Pepper, Bill Withers, Grandma's Hands.
That was what was he known for, Neil?
Well, Ain't No Sunshine, of course.
Oh, that's right.
Lean on Me.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Lean on Me.
And of course, we've talked about Offspring.
You know what? It's funny. They pop up like everywhere. That's Alanis Morissette. So the theme song is like crazy, and she sings a version of it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But every time, like at the beginning, I was like at Kennedy, I'm like, yeah, this is Alanis Morissette. She's like, no, it's not. She has a different version. This is not her singing. I said, yeah, it is.
yes, it is.
It drives her nuts.
PJ Harvey.
I like PJ Harvey a lot, dude. Like it's one of those ones I kind of forgot about.
I don't.
You? But she was one of my favorites back in the day.
Well,
when you think about
there's so many effing artists out there with so many effing good songs. So, and then it's funny. Florence and the Machine does a cover of "I'm Just a Girl" from No Doubt.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what I got.
Which I probably remember, but
So, and then Dinosaur Jr. was one that
I love Dinosaur Jr.
I think they're coming to concert.
Jay Mascis.
gosh darn, I would love to see
I
them.
know.
And I've
only seen them once.
Every year, too.
I know. I've only seen them once, and it was shortened because Lollapalooza, there was a thunderstorm. But then,
of course, you cannot forget Salt and Pepper, along with Rex in Effect,
Rump Shaker.
With the motherfucking Rump Shaker.
But Wilson Phillips, right? Hold on, which is awesome song.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
Pumpkins.
Garbage. And I was going to get to
the last one.
Garbage, number one crush, and then of course we freaking love the Pumpkins. Drown and
they had Drown.
Yeah.
Like when they had that in the show, I'm like, oh my god, I can't beat that.
It
is. I mean, Beef, Yellow Jackets, 2 great shows, and then also great music to go along with them. Which reminds me, we had another one of our supporters had an idea. Like when we talk about these shows, or during the show we talk about these bands and that, and to come up with like a Spotify playlist for each episode. So we'd mention Wilco, and then you might have, Passenger Side as a song or whatever. So I think we're going to do that. So I think when we kind of wind down season 1, I think we're going to go back and build some of these playlists to go along with the earlier episodes. I think we'll obviously have a playlist talking about what we have here.
Yeah. Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah. And again, it just goes back to the support. We kind of we do. I call us the Garage Band of Podcasts, and we really are. We kind of, when I look at our little map and of our downloads, it's like bright red, like in the Midwest, and it's kind of cool, right? Plus, I'm kind of a dork, so whatever. So anyway, show number 3 is called The Bear. Have you watched The Bear?
No.
Okay, so The Bear.
I've heard of The Bear.
Yeah, The Bear has been 2 episodes, and it is on Hulu, and it's about a guy who's an awesome chef. He ends up taking over a brother's restaurant, blah, blah, blah. I'll just leave it, there. Yeah. And it's like family dynamic, and plus all the people they grew up with in the city as the city's changing and the people are changing. And it's a really good show. And the interaction between, like, the chef and his kind of second or, partner or whatever you want to say is awesome. 2 great actors. I don't even remember their names, so I won't get into it because I'm more interested in the music side, right?
That's what we're talking about.
But it takes place in Chicago, I believe, and they've already had a few Wilco songs on, and one of them, Via Chicago, which I know we've seen quite a few times.
And Wilco's from Chicago, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And REM. There's been quite a few REM, and it's funny because I started following them on socials, and like they're getting this big like resurgence from this show, and actually like they're embracing it. They think it's super cool, and it's just a way to continue to spread that music. Counting Crows. Like them or not, but some songs that and you will sing.
Mr. Jones on the way here.
Right, that's hilarious. It wasn't Mr. Jones. The Breeders.
Yeah.
Saints, that was a cool song. And I looked back at an old Lollapalooza lineup. I saw the Breeders one time. Blew my mind, Cannonballs, of course, the one I always remember. But Pearl Jam was on there with Animal, which is, I believe, from Versus, if I remember. And one you usually don't hear too much. No. So that was super cool to hear that. The Beach Boys, they're in there. I'm not a big fan of them.
I like the Beach Boys.
I know you are. I know you are. Van Morrison. In fact, even Genesis, which obviously Phil Collins, right? Which takes me back. We talked with Pickler about Reno Basement, right? So a big thing, me and Jeff Thomas were roommates, and Pickler and Tim Blackwell were right next door. And Sega Genesis was like the biggest gaming thing at the time in college. We'd play college football, Madden, blah, 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 hockey. And at one point, we left the door open or whatever, and all of our effing games got stolen. So we filed a report with, public safety, and, Jeff tells them that their Sega Genesis, games were stolen or whatever.
How did they didn't need the system because they had the system. Go
ahead. Right.
Go with it.
Yeah, so we got a system. I think the only thing they left us was Jerry Glanville's Brawl Ball, Pigskin Brawl Ball. Bring out the troll. Remember? Troll. I actually watched a whole video of a guy playing that on YouTube or something for like an hour just to reminisce. But no, so all the games are gone except for like that one. And then, we get the varsity news or, the paper, and they always have the crime section, and it says Reno basement, Genesis tape stolen. Jeff looks over, he's like, Jesus Christ, now they think we're like the biggest Genesis fans, and they still have cassette tapes. There's nothing about Sega, nothing about games. So when I saw Genesis, I just saw that, especially after we just talked about Reno basement. Yep. Hey, did you ever find those Phil Collins tapes you were missing?
Probably what I would think if I read that. I'm like, man, Genesis. I really love Genesis and Phil Collins and his no hair. So, comb over /
All right. So, what else did we have, Neil? I think I had one thing that we wanted to do, and that was we talked about earlier. So I figured we'd go out with PJ Harvey a little bit. And again, just a fun little episode. We're going to drop it as kind of a special podcast, I think. We'll let everyone know how the party goes. It's going to kick off, hopefully, in about 2 hours.
Yes. And we will be at Smashing Pumpkins. I know we said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will be at Pumpkins on Wednesday.
Wednesday, September 6th. Yep, and I'm thinking that hopefully we'll be set up and ready to go by no later than 6.
I mean, are you going to bring, obviously we're going to bring a table, right?
I figure the same exact setup we got now. I'm going to try to get a little smaller table.
I mean, we're just going to talk and bullshit and
see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully we run into some people that we know that'll be there, and if not, we'll grab some randos and probably edit them out. All right, Neil, thanks again.
That's really
awesome. But we are, so we're going to do Pumpkins Wednesday. We'll drop that, and then we are actually going to do our Season 1 wrap episode. We'll obviously let everyone know how the Pumpkins went. We also will let everyone know how Greta Van Fleet went, because I'll be going with Kennedy and Avery.
Yes.
And then I will let everyone know how Pearl Jam at the Ruoff Music Center in Noblesville, Indiana goes when me and John go. So that'll be our final. We'll talk about all that stuff, what else we have coming up, and then maybe a shout out to some potential Season 2 guests. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Thanks.
All right,
take care.